Hello YouTube. Today we're going to discuss another reason why you should be staying natural. You see, a topic that I don't hear discussed a lot is the interaction between the choice that you make of actually starting to introduce substances in your body and the history of said body. Because a lot of the time it's turned into a scientific discussion, which is great, where people discuss the side effects, they're going to discuss potentially the psychological risks, and I've done that on my channel. You can also hear people discuss the potential reintroduction of natural hormones into the mix of things, meaning that you can take PEDs for a while and then hope that your body is going to somehow start doing production again at some point, and that eventually you will be able to exist without the substances. And those topics are important and they're interesting because you need to give a door for people who might have been addicted, for people who might have fallen into that type of substance abuse, who were at some point obsessed with muscle building and were ready to risk their health and their freedom potentially to actually build more of that mass so that they can start doing natural bodybuilding again. That being said, there's dude cutting a tree outside my house. That being said, something that is not discussed enough to me is the very process of doing that to your body, because it's brand new, meaning that the introduction of exogenous hormones into the human body doesn't even have 100 years of existence, and it has consequences, because the body is a delicate machine, and it's been doing its thing for a long time now. Right, all that hormonal production, the way your body reacts to food, the way your body reacts to training, to stimulus, it's been ingrained in your DNA and the DNA of your ancestors for a while, and we've just started playing with that. And I'm not going to say that it's counter nature because we're touching what God made. I don't really care about that. What I care about is the implications of all of this. Because there's a lot that we don't know, we're guessing, and you also understand that at this point, it's not like people are running battery tests on gym rats who take PEDs, right? We have case studies, we have groups of individuals, we have some insight, but we don't get all of it, we don't understand all of it. And for me, in cases like this, when you don't have all of the variables and you don't have all of the cards in your hands, it's best not to play, because you just don't know. Right? The reality is that you don't know. And even if you go on some of those channels that I visit that do a good job at breaking it down and explaining the risks of PEDs for people who really want to use it, even then you don't know, right? Because the issue is that your body is your own. I've heard stories about people who took PEDs and their blood tests were fine and they didn't have any complications. On the other side of that, I've heard people who took PEDs and within 6 months, their liver was gonzo. You don't know on which side of the fence you fall. You have no idea. So if you stay natural, you can actually prevent any type of ill fate to actually happen to you because you're not risking anything, right? That's one thing. And then there's also the issue of potential. And that to me is the most important one, because and that's something that you hear a lot, and I will eventually make a video about it, about TRT, that new trend on YouTube Fitness that is now becoming the new fake natty, to be honest. Too many people who jump on that TRT, because their body doesn't produce as much hormones as they would like, they don't get the result that they would like. And every time I see that, it's always young dudes. It's always dudes sometimes younger than me, and I'm always thinking to myself, why can't you just be patient? Why can't you actually try and improve that naturally? Because it can be improved naturally. Testosterone can be raised natty. And the answer is they lack the patience, right? And they lack the patience to me because they don't trust their body. They've been repeated again and again that natural lifters cannot do anything. You cannot be good naturally. You cannot be shredded naturally. You cannot look big naturally, which all of these are lies, of course. But if you compare a natty to someone who's enhanced and takes grams of stuff, then yes, you can never compare. But why would you try to compare with someone like this? Because that person is already far gone. from where I stand, they're not human anymore. They inject 5 times as much hormones as any human on earth could potentially produce. They're not even in the same category. It's like comparing yourself to a tiger. Of course, you're not going to be able to compete with that thing because it stopped being human, right? It left humanity behind. And that's their deal. But if you're here for the long run, if you care about your health, and if you're in love with natural bodybuilding, seeing what your body can do natty, pushing the limits of what people think is possible, then you're going to have to repeat that to you so that you can actually stay on the path, which is your body will not betray you as long as you don't betray it. And if you keep it pure, right? If you don't introduce things that don't belong in it, if you don't start basically giving it a pass for being lazy, because that's also what PEDs are. You're giving hormones to your body and it's telling your body, hey, you don't have to produce these anymore. You can take a break because I'm going to take care of that because you don't do a good enough job. You don't produce enough. I'm not big enough, fast enough. So I'm going to start buying it from Mexico and I'm going to put it in my bloodstream. So you take a rest. Why do you think all of these guys who abuse the substances for years jump on TRT afterwards? They don't have a choice. Their body does not produce anything anymore. They have less free test production than a 20-year-old female, right? And they know it. Thing is, if they go off, you know what happens? They melt away. All of that muscle is gone. You know why? Because it was never theirs in the first place, right? It was a fabrication. And it's the sad reality of what we call pro bodybuilding. I'm a fan of this, and again, I need to make a video where I express how I feel about this. I'm not going to dog on it too much because I watch it. It would be hypocritical. That being said, I also think and fully believe that as far as the general public goes, there is a reason why people don't like pro bodybuilding. Is because it's not relatable. Because we all know what they have to do to get to that place. That being said, I also think that there is a space for natural bodybuilding to start showing people what can be done if you put in the work, if you're patient, and if you work hard. And to me, all of that goes down to the respect that you owe to your body. You were given a body, and if you're lucky enough, you don't have any genetic condition, you don't have any handicaps. And when I hear people who don't have any of that, who have 2 legs and who have all of their limbs, anything works perfectly fine, they train for 2 years and they say, I have bad genetics. To me, that is the deepest level of ungratefulness possible. You have all of the ingredients, you're just too lazy to make the cake. It's not the fault of the ingredients if you don't know how to make cake, or if you're not patient enough to let the cake bake. Of course, if you take the cake out of the oven after 5 minutes and you taste it and it's not great, guess why? You didn't give it any chance to be great. All right? And all of that, again, comes down to thinking and believing that whatever is going on here, it's going to be all right. You might have low test now. Train, eat well, rest, and see what your body does with that. See if your body doesn't adapt to the environment you put it through, because when you train, and that's something I firmly believe, your body doesn't want to break. So if you slowly push the volume, you slowly push the tonnage, and you know how to implement all of the exercises, eventually, because of the load, your body is going to start increasing test. And that's a thing that I don't know why people don't get, haven't caught up yet. When a natural gets bigger, their muscles gets bigger. You know what else gets bigger? Their testosterone production. It makes perfect sense. It's the way the body works. If you increase the test of someone artificially, their muscles grow. So why wouldn't it be the same the other way around? Why wouldn't the creation of muscle encourage the hormonal environment to be more proficient? For me, it is, right? I have blood tests for a few years back, so maybe one day I'll do another battery and see how much my test has improved. But I'm sure that for actual naturals, our test keeps rising. It's not fast, but it does, and it shows one thing. The delicate machine that our bodies are always going to strive towards survival and towards being the best possible. And there are a lot of things to discuss in this. Some people will tell you, well, the body doesn't want muscles. Yes, it's true. It prefers fat. But it's not necessarily because it shuns muscle. It's because muscle is tough to build and fat is easy. and fat is more soluble and it's going to bring more calories when there's no food around, right? It doesn't mean that you have to sit on the couch and become a fatty, right? There's other things to discuss on that, but I will of course make other episodes. But for this, I want to leave you with that, right? This is what you have. You have that machine, all right? But you're the machinist. You're the one who decides what to do with it, and at the end of the day, you're in control. But you will never get very far if you don't respect that machine and if you don't actually let it express its full potential. So that's it for the day. I will keep making those videos because I want people to stay natty forever, and on this channel, this is what I will always promote. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.